Moving into our last segment this week for the Don't Tell Mama Sports Podcast. Get your bibs on. Put your bibs on because we got the week 4 Extra Juicy Dawgz. This is where we pick a quarterback, running back, receiver, and tight end who's a smash play this week, who maybe a guy lower down in the rankings who has a good matchup that you can feel comfortable putting in your fantasy lineups. Sam, start us off at the quarterback position.
With pleasure, Matt. So my extra juicy dog at the quarterback position going into this week is Jalen Hurts of the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen is quarterback 7 on the season in fantasy. He's at home, and it's against the Commanders. They've had some tough games. I know our buddy Philly Dan was talking about how they're kind of figuring things out on offense with a new offensive coordinator. There's something that's not right. Is there a better opportunity to get right than playing against the Washington Commanders? I don't think so. I see a big game from Jalen. I'm not going to guarantee anything, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did one of those tush-push QB sneaks into the end zone.
Oh, yeah.
And he's had good fantasy output so far this season, even with some games that they struggled a little bit in. So, yeah, my extra juicy dog at the quarterback position, Jalen Hurts. What about you, Matt?
I like that pick there, Sam. Jalen Hurts on the season, 3 passing touchdowns and 3 picks. So I can see a breakout game for him here. But my extra juicy dog at the quarterback position for week 4 is a guy we talked about earlier. We called him a queef. He's been a bust so far. He's in your lineup, Sam. It's Chicago Bear quarterback Justin Fields. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. But listen up. He's the quarterback 21 on the season. Big disappointment. I had him, I think, number 5 going into the year. But the Chicago Bears this week, they host the Denver Broncos, who just gave up 70 points last week to Miami. Denver's defense is ranked second to last against quarterbacks in fantasy through 3 weeks. I think Justin Fields runs all over him. Put him in your lineup. Don't be nervous about him this week. But I tell you right now, 4 weeks into the season, if he queefs again on you, it's time to go find somewhere else. No one's going to trade for him. I don't know if you can drop him. That's tough, but definitely you can't start him.
Interesting. I don't know that I can start him this week. I had a better game from my backup this past week, but if he's your extra juicy dog, I might have to reconsider.
Well, who are you picking between?
It's between him and Geno Smith.
Okay, Geno Smith on Monday night at New York. Yeah, that's definitely a debate. Who is your extra juicy dog at the running back position, Samson?
Matt, I'm very excited about this one. I was going over it, trying to pick. There's a lot of good choices, a couple of good honorable mentions, Kenneth Walker, Bijan Robinson, but ultimately I went against my better judgment and decided to be a little bit of a homer on this one. I got my Indianapolis Colts running back Zach Moss, baby.
Oh, a lot of touches.
Yep. So a couple of my picks are a little bit chalky with guys you would expect to do well, but I had to throw in a couple of more like dark horse picks. So I did just that with my extra juicy dog at the running back position. Yeah, I got Zach Moss. Look, he's running back 12 in fantasy, and he missed week 1. So that's 2 games. So while everybody else has 3 games, in 2 games, he's running back 12.
Wow.
He has 2 touchdowns, a receiving and a rushing, and he has 2 touchdowns in the 2 games that he's played. And the receiving touchdown that he had against the Ravens was a beauty. It was a great pass by Minshew, but man, it looks so good. He's and volume is king. Volume is king in fantasy, and he in his 2 games that he's played, 18 touches and 30. Plus, he's getting work in the passing game, and the Colts are liking what they see. And if you're Zach Moss, who knows what's going to happen after this next week when JT comes back? You're definitely trying to put on to either make the Colts have a hard decision to make or just putting good film out there for, I don't know, maybe another team if things work out with JT. So also, if I may, Matt, I got my first guarantee of this segment.
Oh,
My buddy, Mr. Tutty,
wow.
Zachary Moss,
Wow.
3 weeks, 3 touchdowns. He's definitely scoring at home against the Rams all day.
Wow. Big pick there, Sam. Zach Moss, a guy that wasn't drafted in leagues. People scooped him up. And as a Jonathan Taylor owner, I slept. I slept. My extra juicy running back for week 4 is going to be Dallas Cowboy Tony Pollard. Okay, he's running back 4 on the season. They're sitting right now 7-point home favorites against New England. The Pats are ranked 20th against running backs, so that middle, bottom third, whatever. Tony Pollard surprisingly hasn't scored a touchdown since week 1. And damn it, he's due for one right now. My buddy, Mr. Tutty, Tony Pollard, is going to score one against the Pats this week. 7-point home favorite. I like it.
I like it. I like the pick.
Who is your extra juicy dog at the receiver position?
This particular dog is extra juicy, and he is on my fantasy team. I got Stefon Diggs of the Buffalo
Ooh,
Bills as my extra juicy dog at the wide receiver
juicy,
position.
juicy.
They're taking on the Miami Dolphins, who are 17th in fantasy against running backs. If we could rewind back to week 1, like I mentioned in talking about the Chargers, they almost came away with a win in that game. Chargers put up a lot of points. Dolphins defense is middle of the pack, subpar. You can score against them. The issue is that their offense is so good, it's just hard to come back. One of two things are going to happen. The Bills are going to shock us, and their defense is going to really stymie this Dolphins offense. And it's going to be a close, exciting game, or the Dolphins are going to be up, and the Bills are going to be playing catch up, throwing the ball. And Josh Allen has established another good connection with Stefon Diggs this year. Diggs has 13, 7, and 12 targets in his first 3 games. Now, that
Juicy.
hasn't correlated with touchdowns. He's only got one. But my second guarantee, my buddy Mr. Tutty,
Oh,
Stefon Diggs is going to catch a touchdown pass from Josh Allen against the
woo.
Dolphins.
He's getting a little greedy this week, Sam. Back to back guarantees here. I like it, though. I like it. Good keeper pick by you, Stephon Diggs. Seems like a franchise keeper, if you ask me.
He's a dog, an extra juicy dog.
Oh, my extra juicy dog at the receiver position gonna be Las Vegas Raider Devontae Adams. Wide receiver 4 on the year. They're gonna be at the Chargers. They're gonna be an underdog. Jimmy G's gonna have to be chucking it. I don't know if I trust that, but whatever. They got a 48.5 point over under, though. That's good for second on the week. There's going to be some points scored in this. The Chargers are ranked dead last, 32nd against opposing receivers. Okay, this is why I went to this matchup. Devontae Adams is coming off a 2-touchdown, 20-target game. I must have fallen asleep on Sunday night because I didn't remember that. But damn it, Sam, call me greedy, but I'm right there with you. My buddy, Mr. Tutty for Devontae Adams. Call me greedy, but I'm guaranteeing a touchdown for Devontae Adams against the Chargers in a possible shootout. And Sam, right now we want to take a second to get an update from our guy Max.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Let's hear it, Maxie.
Hey everybody, this is Max. I hope everyone is enjoying the show today with Kobreezy and whoever he has on as well. It's been a trip. I miss you all. I miss being on the show, and you know it's been a long way coming with 3 weeks not being on the show. With my wife and I moving to beautiful Tennessee, as you see here in the background. Look at all this green. Look at all that green. Everything's green here. It's amazing. Mountains, rivers. It's so beautiful. But I promise I will be there next week. But I wanted to go ahead and state my buddy Mr. Tutty this week. Okay, I've been missing it, and I'll tell you right now, I am guaranteeing that CD Lamb of the Dallas Cowboys gets into the end zone. If you have CD Lamb on your fantasy football team, I understand that right now it might be a little frustrating that he hasn't gotten in the end zone, considering all the work he's getting. This week, I'm guaranteeing it. Let's go CD Lamb with my buddy Mr. Tutty.
So yeah, thanks for checking in with us there, Max. Good to hear from you, brother. Sam, what do you think about that my buddy Mr. Tutty guarantee for CD Lamb this week?
Well, first and foremost, it looks like Max made a great decision. Tennessee looks beautiful. I like that shot with all the green in the
A lot of
background.
green, a lot of green.
I have no problem with this take. I think the volume is there. Like we said, volume is king in fantasy football, and it hasn't correlated with touchdowns. But I really like the call. CD Lamb getting in the end zone with a touchdown this week. It's a good call, Max.
Max and I both have Cowboys scoring this week, so we both see maybe a possible pounding in Dallas of the Patriots. Sam, finish us up here with our extra juicy dog at the tight end position.
I got my last extra juicy dog, but apparently we got a couple of greedy dogs in this segment, back to back guarantees.
Both of us. It hasn't been working out for me to guarantee both, but I'm still going to be greedy here in week 4.
Well, my extra juicy dog at the tight end position, very excited about this one. Sam Laporta of the Detroit Lions, rookie tight end. I think we all forget why TJ Hawkinson got that big contract in Minnesota. It's largely due to the work that he did in Detroit. Detroit knows how to treat their tight end well. Volume, targets. That Laporta kid has hardly come off the field. And I think this past week, fantasy-wise, it finally correlated with a touchdown. But in each game, his targets have gone up 5, 6, 11. His fantasy points have gone up corresponding to that. His average depth of target is over 10 yards. So he's getting the ball thrown to him down the field. He's had a catch for 45 yards, so they're looking to him deep. And he's got a 23% target share. So I'm not going to guarantee a touchdown just because I don't want to have the recency error since he just scored one in this last game. But there's a lot of things to like: volume, targets, time on the field. And let's not forget, he came from one of the tight end universities.
One of the two, yeah. Iowa, throw in Notre Dame also. I had to look up because I assumed that he was picked up in our league, but he was actually drafted by Nick Smith with the 3rd to last pick in this year's draft. So good on Nick for that pick. Good value there, 16th round.
If you snagged him off the waivers or drafted him and have been patient, good for you. I checked in all my leagues, and he was a late round sleeper pick, I think, in a lot of drafts. So good for you if you did.
Tight end 2 on the season. Impressive. But my extra juicy dog at the tight end position for week 4 is going to be Jacksonville Jaguar Evan Ingram in their home away from home in London, taking on the Falcons. Evan Ingram, he's tight end 4 this year. He's been very consistent through these first 3 weeks if you look at the numbers. Atlanta, the Falcons, they're 4th to last against tight ends, the defense. Evan Ingram hasn't scored a touchdown yet, so he's due for one. I can't guarantee it.
Oh, I thought we were getting extra greedy.
I can't get a triple tutty guarantee here, but Evan Ingram, there's a lot of weapons there in Jacksonville. You know, I got to think they're going to get Calvin Ridley back involved also. But Evan Ingram, the tight end 4 in the season, taking on the 29th ranked defense against tight ends for the Falcons. I'll put Evan Ingram in this segment.